Welcome back. Well, I would like to welcome to our studio Charlie Redner, who has a show that is called Writers and Readers, but it was formerly known as the Right Now Club. Well, hello,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm fine today. Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited about talking about my new show.
I love it. Now, of course, you had been doing the other show for how many years?
Over 10, though. I kept saying 10, but I know it's been over 10, yes.
Okay.
With Judy Saxon. She
Yes.
passed this past summer.
Right, right. And
Yeah.
why did you change the name?
I just didn't want to have the same show without her. I wanted to do a new show, and it's a slightly different format, and it's a little changeover. And it took me a while to adjust the fact that I was going to do a show, and I decided to do it alone rather than have another partner. So.
Yeah, well, I think you're doing a great job, and
Thank you.
you've kicked off this year with a couple of great authors.
We did.
So why don't we start? Let's start. Well, first of all, tell me what Writers and Readers is. I mean, basically,
Great.
what's the show about?
Basically, we like to talk to authors, but you know, it was a blessing and a curse at the same time when the virus came, because we had to do all of our shows Zoom. We got kicked out of the studio here,
Yes.
so we had to do Zooms. But the blessing was I was able to talk to authors around the country and around the world.
Yeah.
And we had some very famous writers on. So I want to go back to the studio again, and I'll have more Laguna Woods writers and more from the surrounds. And you know, if people come, the famous authors that come in, they'll come into LA, they'll come into San Diego, they'll come up and see me and we'll have a chat. But I want to do more local authors now, and we've had some great ones on. And we started the show January, the first Monday in January was our very first show.
Right.
And we had a gal on who wrote the book Behind the Red Curtain.
Right.
And Bassery, and she was a 13-year-old girl on the top of the U.S. Embassy in Saigon in 1975, waiting for the helicopters to come and take people away. No more came.
She was left. Wow.
And her family took 7 years to escape. It was terrible.
Okay.
And, but she was very interesting. She came into the studio. She's a delight to talk to, and it's amazing how people go through all what they go through and come out the other side.
Right, writing a book and then teaching others about
Yes.
it. Yeah.
What went on there and how terrible it was escaping communism. Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, and look what we're dealing with right now with Russia and Ukraine.
Well, she remembered, you know, as we were leaving Afghanistan, and it brought all those memories back to her.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
So that was in January.
Right.
All right. Then in February, what did you do?
Where you go, I go. It's funny, the title is lighter than the subtitle. Where you go, I go. We had Beth Black. She's local, and she wrote an interesting book. It's about a woman whose daughter feels she'll be better off in a retirement home, not a retirement community like Laguna Woods. But she keeps running away, and she ends up buying a bicycle built for two. And love, guess what? There's a first, there's a second, there's a third love. So it's a love story.
Oh.
And she also had a very interesting website. We showed pieces of it, and it was really.
Now you said she's local, or where is she?
Yeah, she's right here in Irvine, I believe.
Oh, okay, great, great. Now you've got another. So every month you have a new author.
Right,
correct?
every month, and then the show runs every Monday at 10:30.
Okay. Then now in March you have Nancy Clan Morin, who lives right here.
She does. And she wrote this, The Clock of Life. I can't say it's the best local author that I've read, because I have some other friends here that might, but she's definitely in the top 5. This book is amazing. It goes back to the era. She talks about the Vietnam War. Her father's killed in the war, this young boy. And the young boy has a black friend. It's a white and black story where it ends up being back in the time of the Freedom Riders, and how difficult it is for children. You know, children can get along. It's the adults, and what happens in the adult world does affect the children. So it's a wonderful read. I recommend this book highly.
Excellent. And you can see that in March. And then next month you have someone else who...
Yeah, we have, this is exciting, Don Westerhaven. He's written a book, Alexander's Lighthouse, and I've been impressed with Alexandria since maybe 6th or 7th grade. I discovered the great library, and I'm obsessed with it. All the things that happened there from 300 to 30 BC, there was the greatest discoveries on the planet were made there. The greatest minds went to Alexandria. And of course, people know that the library burned down, you know, and there were earthquakes, and it eventually got destroyed. And then the Roman Empire came along, and that was the end of the city of Alexandria and the Ptolemies leading Egypt at that time. And I'm really excited to talk to him because there's other books, and I love Alexandria, and we'll talk about that for a while this month.
Oh, I love it. That is great. And, you know, you learn a lot about, like you said, the world and what's going on sometimes right in our own backyard.
Yeah.
So wonderful. All right, well, let's talk about when people can watch your show. It is on Mondays at 10:30, Saturdays at noon, and it's right here on Village Television.
That's where you'll find us.
I love it. Now, if people are authors, how do they submit? Do they get in touch with you?
I know most of the authors, but I'll tell you what, I would like people, if they want to, I also want to do readers. That's why we called it Writers and Readers. I would like to have some local people come on. There are 3 book clubs at the library here. I would love the people to come on and talk about maybe their favorite book. It doesn't have to be a New York Times bestseller. It doesn't have to be something that's won the Pulitzer. It's just to be a book that they're interested in talking about.
Okay.
I'll invite them on. So the best way to reach me is probably through my website, or the best way might be my own email, which is simply my name, charlesredner@gmail.com.
Perfect.
CharlesRedner.
All right, I love it. Thank you so much for the information.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care.
If you want more information, of course, you can get in touch with Charlie via his email. And then don't forget to tune in on Mondays at 10:30 and Saturdays at noon. We'll be right back.